Hi and welcome to the first part of the Git tutorials, and in this part we're going to cover the basics of what Git is and how it helps us to manage our projects. If you're already familiar with what Git is, you can skip this part and start with the tutorial part. So what is generally Git? Git is a popular version control system for keeping the track of code changes, and also it enables teams to collaborate with each other. It also helps the developers to be able to work together in one team all around the globe. And not only that, it manages different versions of a project, and additionally it enables teams to create different forks and branches and different versions of the same project, and also it stores all the versions inside one project. So how does Git help us? It creates and manages repositories, and it also creates branches, and it enables us to merge them if they're successful branches, or delete them at a time that we don't want them. It also helps us track the changes that we've made so that later we can revert back to the previous changes. And additionally, it automates the deployment of our code. So if we have a website to deploy, it is a very good hosting service. So it also creates tags for specific versions so that we can find those versions with those specific tags. And you might wonder, why should we use Git? First of all, it is one of the most popular tools, and most of the professional developers use it, nearly all of them. And the reason for that, it enables to collaborate with different developers all around the globe. It creates an outstanding portfolio for you so that you can shine among other developers and be noted by the recruiters. And it also enables for the teamwork inside a very good team, and it creates efficient teamwork for the version control and be able to create different versions of a same project and then merge them all together inside one. Also, it helps organize your projects and keeping the backup of your previous versions, and it enables to create different forks of a project at the same time. So the process of working of the Git is that you first initialize a repository, which is a folder inside of your computer, and all the versions are inside that folder, but there are hidden parts inside of that folder where you can find the different versions by just activating each of those versions using the terminal. And you can add files to the repository afterwards if, for example, you want to add a HTML file or CSS, JavaScript, or any file format. Then you will commit the changes to be able to save it for permanently, for always, so that you can later get back to those backups. And Git also allows you to see the full history of those changes by using the Git log. So I will explain all of the commands later in the later tutorials, and right here we'll only talk about the theory of what happens inside of the Git. So additionally, you can revert back to any previous commits if you want, and you can create different branches of the same project, and then you can merge them inside one and delete that branch. So if you're wondering what a branch is, it has a configuration like this, and notice that we have a master branch and we have other branches. So each one of these circles are separate versions, and the first circle, which is a black one, is the very beginning of your project, and then you update it with the second version, third version, and then you might want to work on the same project with different methods, or you want to work on the different features of the same project. So you hire the developer A to work on one of the features of that project, and developer B to work on the other feature. So if the developer A is successful, you can then at the end merge the blue branch to the master branch, which is black circles, and then you can delete that branch too. Or if the blue branch, which is feature A, needs to also you need to work on other features of it, you can then hire another developer to work on that feature, or you can work on all of the features by yourself. It was just an example. And notice that maybe each of one of the branches doesn't work out very well and it's not successful. So you delete it and you don't merge it to the master branch. Just as easy as that. So many of you might have wondered if Git and GitHub are the same as each other, and the answer is no. Git is an offline version of GitHub, or in other words, GitHub is a web-based or online version of Git. So Git is more general and it has more general tools than GitHub. GitHub has the same tools, plus the fact that it enables you to do some other actions. You can keep the back of your project, and it is the most popular Git tool that is famous, and some of you might have known Git with the GitHub. So that's it for this part of the tutorial. We've explained some of the details of what Git and GitHub is and how they work. In the next parts, we're going to cover the basics of Git and how the commands work, and then after finishing the Git part, we'll get into GitHub and work with GitHub. So that's it for this part of the tutorial, and hope you've enjoyed it, and until the next one, goodbye.